And welcome back everyone to Trekyards Mission Briefing. It is Wednesday. You guessed it. You knew. Comes on every single week. No one is. Are you surprised yet?
No, I'm never
surprised. Did we film this on a Wednesday?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Many moons ago. That's actually pretty rare. Anyway, this episode today, we're going to look at a concept thing. We can look at anything in Mission Briefing from the canon, the non-canon, the game, the side, the book, anything. Today is a very unique thing. It's an unused concept. But it goes back to a more controversial topic, the Discovery verse. And I want to let you introduce it, because you had not seen this, I believe, until today. I'm really excited to talk about this, because it's really... When I saw this as a thing that existed, I grabbed it straight away and said, this is a Trekyards. And you said, film it today. You jumped at the head of the queue. What is it, Stuart?
Well, Samuel, today we are talking about the Klingons' early concept design ships. Sorry, I had my Klingon cotton mouth going on. Today we're going to be talking about some early concept designs for Klingon ships for Discovery.
Yes.
And yes, it is quite a controversial topic. You either love them or you hate them or whatever. But we need to look at everything because we are Trekyards. It's what we do. And these grabbed my attention as soon as I saw them. I was excited. These, dare I say, are something that should have been.
I think as with some of 65% of fans would agree.
As with some of the concepts that we've looked at, it's almost better than what we finally got. Well, in this case, it's clearly better. But anyway, yes, we're going to look at some concepts for Discovery ships for Klingons.
So I'm going to butcher the name, but a long time ago in the production line, an artist was asked to do Klingon ships and asked not to look at the Klingon ships of the past when it came to design Bird of Prey. Don't use a Bird of Prey as an example. Good start. And this was Bartol Rendlik. And he had a lot of Gothic stuff influences, and I believe his art was leaked originally. We saw a sarcophagus ship, and a lot of us thought that can't be true because it's so radically different. It came true in the show, obviously. Now these are a very early iteration of where he was going, and it's obvious to anyone that this takes the opposite approach to his brief. It's probably before he got the brief, and he wanted to design a Klingon ship, so he designed Klingons. And as a pure overview, I think the bottom three are all great.
I totally agree with you.
I mean, they're not TOS, pre-TOS Klingons, but they are all cool.
And they all say Klingon. I mean, first glance, you know it's a Klingon ship. And that's exactly why these were never used, because they didn't want that. They wanted something new and unique, which I disagree with. These are very aggressive. They're very weapon-like. They almost all look like they could be hand weapons or blades of some sort. Especially that bottom one. And I like that. And this even could have worked for a pre-TOS Klingon society or like an ancient sect like the sarcophagus ship is. I would have had no issues with that. And I would have said, hey, the Klingon ships are a great redesign. They're a great reimagining. They fit in the Discoverse because it's its own universe and not Prime. I mean, that works fine. I
mean, we talked about this ages ago, but obviously we'd hoped... And they sort of alluded to, but it was untrue, that the sarcophagus ship and the sect, T'Kuvma's sect, was an ancient cult. And while it is ancient, not ancient enough to mean anything, because their armor's the same, their weapons are the same, it's all conventional. Just the ship itself is like 2,000 years old, but so what? You know, that can mean anything. Now, if these ships had dropped out of warp, if the story was slightly different, and you know he was calling reinforcements of his own cult, and these had been ancient D7s, really really old, still barely functioning, but updated with modern weapons. Next to the sarcophagus ship, which has a slight D7 vibe, but super ancient,
you would buy vibe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a hybrid of different things. You would think, well, damn, these ancient Klingons are really like, oh, they really, refined the animalistic side of their ship design. Okay, it's a bit of a long time to have the same basic design of a ship, but I mean, look at an aircraft. Look at an aircraft carrier. Compare that to a sailing boat. You can see a lot of or more of a modern destroyer. You can see parallels with a 15th century sailboat, because I mean, there's a bit more mandatory thing there. But hey, if their warp bubbles are mandatory in a certain way as well, who knows? I think fans might say they're too similar.
Yep.
But obviously, he's trying to build a D7 variant. This isn't the entire fleet; it's just a D7 style ship,
or a Klingon style ship. Is more
that too.
Yeah,
that too. Because I mean, Enterprise was great. Because you did get the Raptor, the attack ship, the sort of the fighter, the cargo ship, the D5, the Bird of Prey, and I think other ships. So actually a real variety. Like the Raptor doesn't look like a bird of prey or a Katinga or a D7, but it's clearly visibly Klingon. Again, another John Eves design. These obviously speak to the Klingon, but I mean they are, well, okay, are they too organic looking?
Somewhat. They kind of have a, like I said, either a blade or like an insect vibe, with different bristly hairs off them.
Well, they're all quite different. Talk me through your thoughts on all three then, because the top one is a nothing shape. No offense, it's just a shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the second one down, then talk us through what you think about that one in particular.
Well, the second one is the most non-organic of the bunch, I think, and it does have elements of like the cleave ship at the front, where they could use that to cleave into the. And I do like the aggressive nature of it, and the back. You can definitely tell is just a stylized D7 pulled back and changed a little bit. That's the one I really, I like that one the most. The one directly under that, again, that's a neat concept, which really has that D7 feel, but it also pulls in a little bit of organicness, especially in the neck. That's about the only place that I really see it there. I do like the redesigned head style at the front. Again, it speaks to a different era, but it still feels Klingon. The second one I do also like, especially if it's an older D7 style. I do kind of like that the front is a little bit different. But again, the back, those nacelles, they definitely say Klingon. The bottom one is the most organic of the bunch, and it looks like some kind of strange insect or blade, even, as I said, and feels like a much smaller ship than the other two, in my opinion. More like a fighter kind of design, or like a bird of prey, like a gothic bird of prey, I guess. And that one's got a lot of different spikes on it, which seem almost like hairs of an insect, like an insect leg or something.
Yeah.
So that one's the most organic of the bunch here. But I do still really like it. The nacelles are dramatically different, but yet still the way they're attached, they say Klingon. So those are kind of my thoughts on those three ships. I prefer the first one as a redesign, but I do like the second one quite a bit as an early or ancient version of the design. I think that works perfectly fine. The other one is cool, like I said, as a fighter or a smaller ship, maybe even an early bird of prey. I could buy that. There's still some elements there, but it still says Klingon.
It's interesting. So, if you went the bottom one to the second one and looked at it as an evolution, you go from the most organic, less organic, more militaristically standardized, and then you go to the D5, and then you go to the D7. I mean, you can actually see, the bottom one's the D1, the D2, the T3, the D4, the D. I mean, it's that. I mean, honestly, that kind of works. If you double back, they actually do de-evolve into what we associate. Just going from very high, organic-y. I mean, the Klingons are a weird one because they were only given what we gave them as a culture, and they're not just space Vikings. They can't be. But like the D7 itself is so clean, and it is 60s. It is what we could build in a physical miniature. The fact it's white or grey is so strange. It doesn't quite fit anymore. But the shape works, just not the design itself necessarily. Whereas then you have like the D5, it's like, well, it's all now retroactively integrated into a fleet style. It has a bit more of that organic nature and a bit more of that sharp nature, whatever. These obviously take to a whole different degree. But yeah, the second one is good. The neck is way too long. That's my only big complaint. It looks super, super spindly. And that's the opposite to what I think they're going for. I'm surprised the design did that much. The engines look like reefer engines, just reversed, which is kind of fun. And the back piece looks like the whole thing looks fast standing still. A John Eves, a John Eves phrase. I love the back element's great. The fact it has like other elements come out, slicey side bits maybe, and yeah, therefore the cleave nature of the front would be really cool, just to sort of stab into people. The middle one of the three is a good hybrid. It's kind of lost a bit of the fast standing still, but it's got.
I knew the front of that middle one that you're talking about right now. I knew that looked familiar. It looks like Saren's ship, Saren from Galaxy Quest. Looks like the front of his ship a little bit.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But sorry to interrupt you.
It actually looks like the Halo Brute pistol. If you look at where those knives work, Looks like that very much. Actually, you might have got as an inspiration. I love the engines though of the middle one, middle of those three. It's very correct and yet not. But the way the how far out the pylons go looks a bit again spindly to me. Doesn't quite work. I mean, it's a 2D simple sketch. The fact that this detail is awesome. The third one is the most fascinating, I feel like, because it remains Klingon, but does feel like an alien organic race. It doesn't link to Klingon design, just to the aesthetic, or vice versa, but whichever is the most surface level.
It feels almost like a Zindian sectoid ship.
100%.
Or their take on a Klingon design.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it's even got like vertebra, and the way the shapes are. But it's kind of it's the most interesting as well, and I think if you gave it a boom again, and sort of added more depth to that front piece, that would fix the proportions, I think, a lot. Because then it would be very similar to the Renegades one, which is sleeked out. The wings are much more refined, sleeker, pushed back. So I really like the how nice the back piece feels. It feels armored. The engine module isn't small; it's all integrated. You know, it's a very nicely built piece. Whereas like the neck for the first one doesn't quite work. The second one, it's good, but it doesn't stand out enough. Although I like the fact that it feels like there's armor connecting the front to the back, which is nice. They're all really interesting, and clearly not TOS, clearly not pre-TOS. But if they'd gone full storm with ancient Klingon sect that had come back, that met with the Romulans, got their cloaks because it was another Romulan employed to destabilize the Empire, especially after the Romulan War, link into that. And then they found a graveyard of ancient, because I mean, why destroy old ships? Why not have them be mummified in ancient? That was part of that cult, was to mummify people. And then these cults, because they want to take over the Empire, they go back to this planet, they take and make active again all these old ships.
As an example, to tie in with real life, I mean, we find in ancient Egypt they buried complete barges with people. They disassembled them in some cases, but
that's nice.
They've been unearthed, they've been reconstructed, and now they're on display in museums. That would be perfect for this, and that's and the very thought of a sarcophagus ship and that kind of ritualistic culture, that would be brilliant.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, as I've said before, Discovery is the show of missed potential, of missed opportunities, of lost potential. And obviously we're hoping that season 2, they said that there's a radical redesign for Klingons. It would be so easy just to retcon that and add in KDF ships, and even just use these designs, just make them a little bit less organic, or just have the organic nature be like armor plating that like has a glowing element that means something. You can easily
maybe the ships we've seen, all the weird key shapes, actually do look Klingon in design, but they've cloaked certain aspects. They've cloaked the booms and they've cloaked the nacelles, so that when you first glance, you don't think it's a Klingon ship. And later we're going to find out that when they decloak these parts, it's like, oh my god, these ships have been Klingon ships all along.
I think that is thoroughly possible.
I'm hoping for the best.
But we know, guys, that just like, oh no, the 60s designs were done in the 60s and you can't have cardboard shapes. Oh no, non-Klingon designs are designed in the 2018s. They don't, we have to reboot that because they don't look right. So if Discovery can reboot the TOS era, then season 2 can reboot the Klingons for Discovery and make them look worthwhile again. Because you can do that apparently now.
Hashtag make Klingons great again.
Yeah, I was trying to. I thought that, but I tried not to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Or sorry. Make Klingons great again. I don't know.
Make Kailash great again. Gotta bring Kailash in it.
Yeah.
Kailash is everywhere.
Yeah.
But hey, they've got these things. They've got these things in the bank. And I do appreciate the artistry in them because there's genuine. It's a really nice take. And once you put them into 3D, it'd be really interesting to see how you would do this. I mean, it'd be great if you took someone like Pierre Droulet, who is a hardcore Trekkie, understands the world to a T. He's the one that built every ship Enterprise pretty much, beyond obviously Brandon Koji and stuff. But he tends, just like Tobias Richter does, they tend to take a design and, if they can, refine certain pieces, because in 3D it doesn't quite translate from the 2D. So especially like Tobias, I'd love to see him take this design and keep the essence, because that's the job, is to keep the essence, but then interpret all these pieces into other things. For example, you could say that bottom piece, those very subtle lines in the neck, what if they're forward-facing disruptor cannons? Because it's an orbital bombardment ship. And they recess and they come down and they've got 12 cannons that fire because that's the purpose of the ship. I mean, you can do really interesting things with that are form follows function that I would love to see. I mean, even if you wanted to say all the spikes are all cannons, I mean, it'd be weird, but I mean, there is how fun would it be to say this cult, this again, this is the fictional version of the Discovery universe. This cult, they said, you know, our ships are old, they're worn, and we're going to put guns on every single surface we can because we've got power sources that are fine, but just not enough offense. If we can add, you know, the classically scimitar 52 disruptor banks and cannons and just load it with guns, then you know, we can still shoot some serious shit. Literally. Not literally. Unless you count the Discovery ships as being shit, then it's up to you.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not going to say that, but
to end on though, I think we really like them. Which is so the top one's your favourite, you said, the second one.
The top one, and then the second one, and then the third one. The very top one, we're not even counting that because that's just a blob. That's like a basic idea.
It's a Wraith Hive ship. I mean, it's just very
yeah. The bottom three, that's the order 1, 2, and 3. He actually ordered them the way I like them. So there you go.
Yeah, no, they're great. Good job. I'm glad I showed them to you today. Has this changed your perspective on Discovery?
A little bit. It's like you said. It's the series of missed opportunities, lost potential, and the fact that we, you know, made a correlation with the ancient Egyptian barges and mummifying the dead and
just
like belongings with them.
Yep.
Yeah, this would have been ideal for Takuvama to pull these out of, you know, whatever and bring them back as we're back. You know. Yeah, missed opportunity.
And then you could say they were huge ships because they were barge ships. They were each, you know, burial ships for their houses. And he's only got 4 of them, but they're double the size of anything in the Federation fleet on purpose. And now you've got the scale thing. But then you see normal ships, Klingon ships appear, and it's like they're dwarfed by it. They're more advanced, they're sleeker, they're smaller. But these other ships have been retrofitted over the course of, you know, 5 years with the Romulans' help and given, you know, then you say, oh, they're firing plasma torpedoes. Plasma torpedoes, we haven't seen that since the Romulan War. Wait a minute. Cloaks and why
maybe the ancient sect worked with the Romulans, or
they'd have to. I just realized, why didn't they say in the episode where, because we watched Vulcan Hello and they say a cloak, we've never seen that before. You fought the Romulan War where they used cloaking devices against you for 3 years. This is a war that's the biggest war in Federation history. Why are you surprised there's cloaking devices? This was a war. You already fought it.
Bad writing.
My
poor research.
God, I didn't.
No care for the franchise.
You already fought. I mean, people are alive still that fought in the Romulan War.
Yep.
It's. I mean, assuming that admiral that we saw is, because Trek age is a little bit different. Assuming he's like in his 60s or 70s, maybe. If you move that, he was
Admiral Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be in his 40s, even though he looks 40s because age. I mean, he would have been not a lot. Well. When is TOS? Well, no, Enterprise is the 100 years from TOS. So so he wouldn't be alive, but it would be his dad would be. So he'd have seen stories. You know, his dad that fought against the Romulan fleet that cloaked, telling his young son about the war he just fought. The
invisible ships that would ambush us. And yes,
you know what it's like. It's like tanks were a big deal in World War One. The first tank, they weren't overly effective, but they were interesting. It's like suddenly in World War II, them saying, "Oh my God, a metal machine! We've never seen them before. So radical!" And then someone taps on the shoulder and says, "You know, a couple of years ago, everyone started using them. You don't remember that? Oh, okay. Oh my God, tanks! They're a thing now."
And on that note,
great designs. Good job.
Yes, absolutely, and. Like to see more of them. Perhaps they'll crop up at some other point.
Hopefully.
That'd be awesome.
Hopefully.
So until next time, guys, you can help us out if you want. Head on over to Patreon/Trekyards or click the link in the description below and help us on a monthly basis. That'd be greatly appreciated. We want to keep this show coming to you. There's more Discovery, more Orville, more a bunch of stuff coming that we're going to be taking a look at, and we love doing that for you guys and sharing that with you. So if you want to support us, you can do that, or head on over to Trekyards.com. There's a donate button there as well. And of course, the easiest way to help us out for free is just to share and also join our live chats. Super chats are really important and really fun because we get to interact with you guys, and we try to do a few a week now, just to kind of keep touch with our viewer base and see where you guys are at. So that's another way to support us.
And we do unique content during the lives. It's not just conversations. It tries to be something that adds to the channel as well, like reviews and discussions about brand new topics and such. Because, you know, if it happens that day, we try and cover it. Hey, that's a worthwhile discussion to have. And of course, guys, if you can't spare a penny or a dollar or a euro or a Hungarian,
a penny or a pound.
There you go.
You can just for a penny, you're in for a pound.
You can just subscribe to this channel, of course, like us, share videos. That's a great way of sharing the news. Like, you know, if this is a ship you've never seen before, share it, because it's a great image, and we think our discussion was quite interesting. If you want to share, please do. It's free and it's simple and it helps.
And don't forget to comment. And also, if you want to comment and hang out with other Trekyards fans, you can head on over to our Discord. The link is in the description below.
Yep.
Lots more over there than just ships and tech. That's kind of been broadened. You can just share your love for Star Trek. There's different chat rooms, different stuff to hang out in, and definitely worth a visit if you're interested. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Coggins.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.